Hi, can everyone hear me? Yeah. Hi, good afternoon. On behalf of AAA, I'd just like to say that we're overwhelmed with how many people have come over the past 2 days. And we'd like to thank you, and what an honor it is to be holding the second international ENCCA event in Madrid. My name is Anna Monreval-Cook. Can you hear me okay? Is that okay? Is it echo? My name, now? Yeah. My name's Anna Monreval-Cook. I'm not a doctor. I have no medical training at all, but I am Vice President of AAA, and I'm an architect. So I'm going to start off by just explaining why I'm here and how I got here. My first meeting really with the world of cancer was through Teenage Cancer Trust, and as an architect I was project architect on this project, which was the first new build centre for I was project architect on the very first new build centre in Cardiff, which was called the Skypad, and it was a building that joined two parts of the hospital together with 2 wards of 3 beds in each, over 2 floors, both for families and for patients with cancer. As Paco was saying before, the emphasis of the design was for it not to appear like a hospital, to give it as much as flexibility as possible, and to give spaces and space for interaction for this particular age group. I'm also a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed when I was 31. And as previous people have been saying before, it was a massive interruption to my life. I was treated here in London. London is where I work and where I continue to work through the whole treatment. And so I'm a survivor, and I am, as was also being said before, there's no bad that comes from something bad. It's always a good thing. And it's really first-hand experience of understanding the challenges that you have to deal with. I'm also, my cousin was Iñaki Nogueroles, and he wasn't a survivor, but he was the reason why we set up this trust, which is Fundación IN, which we set up in 2010, because when he was being treated, I was able to compare, not the medical treatment, he was treated in Madrid, and that was excellent, but just the conditions that he was being treated in. And I could compare them to people of his age, he was 24, how they were being treated in the UK, and how they were being treated in Spain. So we felt, family and friends, that there was a place to set up a trust in Spain. So we created this from our first-hand experience, and the goals are to improve the quality of life of young people with cancer, to raise the awareness of the challenges that they face, and to create age-appropriate care and attention, which doesn't exist yet at the level that we would want. And so when we set up this trust, we started to look for people who had the same interests as us, and we approached Hospital del Niño Jesús, which is where we met Álvaro and Rosalía and Dr. Madero. And we realized very quickly that it's a big task that a small trust can't do. So we decided to set up a platform, which is what AAA really is, that brings together patients, medics, and trusts all together to make us louder, really, so we can have a louder voice. So what are the goals of the AAA? We want to uncover the real situation of adolescents and young adults in Spain. As I was saying, the situation in the UK, US, is much more advanced. So we want to find out what is actually happening here. We want to improve the current condition of treatment for this age group and promote research and clinical trials. We need data. We want to encourage training for professionals to treat this age group. We want to instigate the creation of treatment units, and we know that this is far, far off, and I know this because I have quite a few meetings with Teenage Cancer Trust, and it's not an easy thing to do, but it's the goal. but mainly and really at the beginning stage is to create a platform. So it's a platform for patients to access information and to meet people in their same situation. So, as I was saying, we're not alone. There's medics that bring a lot of knowledge. There's patients that bring the real experience. And the trust that we collaborate with us, Paco, who was speaking before, is one of them, and then we have Vencer el Cáncer, Caico, Fundación Aladina. So 3 parts to our team: patients, medics, and trusts. But what is the current situation in Spain? This is the main problem that we have. We want to do all these things, but we don't know how many people are being treated and what the situation actually is. We don't really know where they're being treated. So we need to tackle all these questions fast. So what is a platform? So I'm going to kind of go through some obvious points, but I think sometimes it's important to point out the obvious, to find out what we're actually dealing with. And what do we know? We know that peer support is a really important factor in treating adolescents and young adults. We know that friendships that are made at school, when school gets interrupted, it might not even be school, it could be your first job, and how you may be absent for long periods of time is disruptive. And we know that the lack of interaction with other people of their own age increases this feeling of isolation. So we know that this age group needs to share, they need to converse, they need to express their feelings. It was being said before that identity... Okay, es que me oigo mucho. Identity is formed through relationships with other people that are in the same situation. They need to share common ground, and treatment for cancer is not just a clinical encounter. It's about coming together in a unique and safe environment. So medical professionals do treat, and they are fully trained, and I'm saying this from a non-medic perspective, but if you speak to somebody who's been through it, they actually get it, and I think that's the main and important part of bringing people together. So how do we do this, and how is AAA doing this? So we set up a website, which was like a Dear Diary, really. Do you know what Dear Diary is? English people know what Dear Diary is. Where not just patients, but survivors, nurses, doctors, cleaners, anyone could give their experience, write it down, and people could access this platform to share experiences. And we launched this at 40 Café in Madrid, which the event was a big thing, but it was mainly sort of our initial very baby steps in bringing together groups of people outside of hospitals. Very recently, we've just set up our next venture, so our website, aaacancer.org. And this basically is the main platform. It describes what the association does, but it gives information about the activities that the association does and future ones and ones that have taken place. But it also provides a platform for medical investigation. So we're setting up a part that you can go into to get information about events, articles that are being written, etc. So on the website, we put on the events that have been happening, and all with the aim of bringing people together. So we set up a series of events called Encuentros con, and they rely strongly on volunteers. As I keep saying, the trust is many people working together. So this is images from Encuentros con el Arte, which is volunteers took a group of patients around art exhibitions and went out for breakfast. There's events that are there obviously for the fitter patients, but it gives an experience that you wouldn't otherwise have, and it kind of takes you away for a day. So there's a hot air balloon adventure in Segovia that was funded. Makeover with help from collaborators like Natalia Belda, who you see in the photograph. And this was also videoed, so there are a lot of short videos on the website, so that patients can start to become interested in the activities that are going on. Because I think when people mention mentoring and being there to help teenagers engage together, then there needs to be a platform for it. It doesn't just happen. You can't put two people in a room and expect them. And you know, evening events in Foster's Hollywood, just to bring people together in the right sort of environment, age-appropriate environments. So this is what we're doing, or we have done up to this point, but we're obviously always looking to what's being done in the UK and the US, who are years ahead, and what our ambitions are, and we look to see how they do it. And at the moment, the trend is obviously social networking, because distance is a problem. Patients aren't always in the same place, and also, as was being said before, the mobile phone is now it's a key part of any young person's life. So what type of social networks are being set up? Organized activities or is important, and also a new trend is gaming platforms, which I find really interesting, because as a medic as well, it does help me understand things that otherwise I don't have a clue about. So Teenage Cancer Trust, obviously, are the big ones in the UK, and Jimmy Teens is amazing, but I was really interested in this new platform, which is RealShare, which has been set up by, following research in Bristol. And to explain it briefly and succinctly, it's like Facebook, but privately for patients. And it is monitored, and it does mean that you do have to go through the right methods to sign up. So it's not open for everyone, but it acts like Facebook. And this at the moment is up for use in the southwest, and hopefully will spread throughout the UK. And this, I think, would be a fantastic idea to investigate. Same thing is happening in Canada with Teen Connector. And as they say, it's teens and mentors, and they all come together, but virtually. And Stupid Cancer is a brilliant one in the US. And the reason why I think their platform is fantastic is not only do they provide access to every other existing website that does similar things to them, or that they feel achieve what they want to do, but I think the tone of their website is spot on. It's very age appropriate. Then organized activities. The USA, until there's a cure, there's a wish, which is brilliant. And I mean, these events are expensive, but it can change somebody's perspective. And it's not just during treatment, it's also after. Camp Make a Dream, where for a little while, at one point on the journey, everyone is the same. And this can happen through donation of land, maybe 4 times a year. And Australia, Good Grief programs. Before we were talking about grief, not just about people you lose, but the life that you lose before you're diagnosed. And to get together and talk to people that have gone through the same issues as you is really important. So this is organized by Canteen in Australia. And then I'm going to end on one that I think is just really original, and it's a game, and it's called Remission 2. Remission 1 came out, and it's and I know this. Well, I don't know if there are any non-medics in the room, but I can understand in a very visual way what is going on, and I think it not only is interactive for patients, but I think it's a way to educate people who aren't patients and friends who might not understand what their classmate is going through or their workmate is going through. So maybe one day, with a little bit more investigation, we could set one of these up, or maybe this could go live. Maybe go worldwide, who knows. So thank you very much. Thanks for an amazing 2 days. And we hope to see you again next year, wherever it's held. Thank you very much.
So are there any questions for Anna? Dan.
Sorry, I'm doing a lot of this. I hope I didn't stop anybody else just don't give me the microphone if you don't want me to. But what I'm really is a really practical problem in Europe, which to date very few of these things have addressed, and that's of language. And I'm really keen to find out what the state of the art language barrier breaking semi-automated or automated web technology is. It's just really interesting, because we would want to try to create something which was co-owned across the European Union and thought in those ways. And language is just a really interesting aspect of getting that right, not only for a wide number of health professionals, but of course also for the young people. Anybody know anything about that issue? How you go on websites with people to speak different languages and it all either does or doesn't magically all work in different languages?
Is this on? I think if you, gaming platform is an interesting point. If you go on the web and you look up tutorials, say, for any program that you can't use, or you are into the gaming world and you are uploading your results, there isn't a barrier. It's just there is a common language. But I think obviously that's not the same in the same subject matter. But well, we could just try it and see what happens.
Seek to respond to the people who quite rightly challenge us that there's some exclusion in this in the language problem, and that we're helping a group of people who aren't the same as the whole group of people who might help. And those are the sorts of challenges that quite rightly we get asked.
Good point.
Net, in the web, the official or unofficial language is English. Most of the communication is done in English, or let's say in a pseudo-English, because if you see mainly the tweets or whatever, they speak approximately English mixed with the Spanish and whatever. At the stage, there is no language barrier for these young people, I would say. My proposal would be to begin any platform in English and see the evolution. If you begin to set barriers yourself, trying to design a very complex app that would cover all the necessities, language, security, whatever, you will not do it. But the approach of technology is to do little things, simple, compact, and let them play with it. And from the experience you gain from them using it, you evolve.
So thank you very much.